Welcome back. So in the last lesson, we talked about native SQL. So now we're going to talk about running an entity with Doctrine. So what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and include your two use statements, include your app bundle entity wine, and then your app bundle entity food. And then you're going to initiate your entity manager. And then we're going to create an object called data, or this is actually going to be an object. We're going to pass entity manager get repository. We're going to call our food class, and we're going to say that it's a class. Now with this get repository, you could create a repository and then handle all your stuff in there, but for this lesson, we're simply just going to pass our class to the repository, and then we're going to execute find all. Now what we're going to do to the template is we're going to we're going to pass our data, $data to Twig. So if we go into Twig, we can then say, so here's our data that we just passed to your Twig template. So we're going to set up a simple for, so we can say 4D in data, and then you're going to call the name. So inside your food entity, remember we had the getter for name. So this is going to get passed there. This is your table column. And then we're going to say it pairs with, and then we're going to call wine ID, which is coming from your food, and then it's going to grab name, which is going to come from the wine column. So I know that's going to be confusing, but they all work pretty much the same. So then if we go to the browser, so I'm loading the browser up. Let's go ahead and save that. So if we go to the browser, then it's going to run chicken pairs with that wine, chicken pairs with Panura Gris, and then each of these. So the best way to try to understand this is if you look at your food. Let's look at the database. So if you look at the food, when we go to look at the data, so name is going to come from here. Let me see if I can make this smaller. And then where we have d.wineid, which is here, and it's going to pass $name. So if you click on here in your database, this is actually going to get the value of name from your wine table. So that's where that comes from. So this might be confusing, but once you do this a couple of times, they all work pretty much the same way.